Welcome, little adventurers, to the colorful town of Motorville, a wonderful place where all the cars and trucks are alive, each with their own special personality. In the heart of Motorville lived a tiny, zippy red car named Zoomy. Zoomy was known for his bright red paint and even brighter spirit. He loved to race through the streets, his engine humming a happy tune. Zoomy was small, but his heart was full of courage and kindness. He was always ready to help anyone in need, even if he wasn't the biggest or strongest car on the road. One sunny morning, the sky over Motorville started to turn a grumpy gray. Dark clouds gathered like a big, fluffy blanket, and a mighty storm rolled in. The wind howled through the streets, and rain poured down like a waterfall from the sky. It wasn't just any storm. It was the biggest storm Motorville had seen in years. Everyone stayed inside, safe and sound, waiting for the storm to pass. By the next morning, the sun peeked out, shining its warm light on the town once again. But oh, what a mess the storm had left behind! The main road leading out of Motorville was completely blocked. Zoomy drove carefully to the edge of town to see the damage. His little headlights widened in surprise. The road was a disaster. A huge ancient tree had fallen right across the path, its big branches tangled like a giant's messy hair. Piles of sticky, brown mud were everywhere, and big, heavy stones were scattered all over the place. No car, big or small, could get through. Zoomy knew this was a big problem. The road was the only way for the delivery trucks to bring yummy snacks and for families to visit their friends in the next town. Something had to be done, and fast. Zoomy revved his little engine, feeling a bit worried. How can a little car like me clear all this mess? He wondered aloud. The tree was too heavy, the mud was too deep, and the stones were too big. He tried pushing a small branch with his bumper, but it barely moved. He felt a little discouraged. Just then, he heard a deep, rumbling sound coming up behind him. It was a friendly, rumbling sound, and it was getting closer and closer. He turned around to see who it was. Coming down the road was Jumbo, the giant yellow GC. Jumbo was the biggest and strongest vehicle in all of Motorville. He had a huge scoop on the front that could lift almost anything, and his big, chunky wheels could roll over any rough ground. Jumbo was always cheerful and ready to work. When he saw Zoomy in the blocked road, he rumbled to a stop. "Wowzers, Zoomy!" he boomed in his big, friendly voice. "That storm really did a number on our road, didn't it?" Jumbo's large, kind headlights blinked sympathetically. Zoomy felt a little spark of hope. "Jumbo, I'm so glad to see you," he chirped. "I want to help clear the road, but I'm too small to move any of this heavy stuff." Jumbo smiled, his big middle grill curving upwards. "Don't you worry, little buddy," he said kindly. "You might be small, but teamwork makes the dream work. You can be my eyes and I can be your muscle. Together, we can get this road cleared in no time. What do you say? Are you in?" Zoomy's engine purred with excitement. "I'm in," he shouted. "Let's do this." And so, the great rescue mission began. Jumbo lowered his giant scoop and pointed it toward the fallen tree. "Okay, Zoomy," he said. "I can handle the big trunk, but there are lots of little branches tangled up everywhere. Can you help me spot them so I don't miss any?" Zoomy zipped around the tree, his small size allowing him to get into all the nooks and crannies. "There's a big one over here," Jumbo," he'd call out. And a few more hiding under these leaves. With Zoomy's guidance, Jumbo carefully scooped up the branches and moved them to the side of the road, creating a neat pile. Next, it was time to tackle the main trunk. It was huge. Jumbo positioned his scoop underneath the thickest part of the tree. He revved his powerful engine, and with a mighty heave, he lifted the entire trunk. It was an amazing sight. He slowly and carefully carried it off the road and placed it gently in a nearby field where it could become a home for little animals. Zoomy cheered. "You did it, Jumbo. You are so strong." Jumbo chuckled. "We did it, Zoomy. Your sharp eyes made it so much easier." Now, all that was left were the big piles of sticky mud and the heavy stones. The mud was deep and slippery. "This looks tricky," said Zoomy, skidding a little as he got too close. Jumbo had an idea. "I can scoop up the thickest parts," he said, "but we need to smooth the rest out. Zoomy, can you drive back and forth over the thinner patches to flatten them down? Your tires can help pat the mud so it's not so slippery for other cars." So Jumbo scooped up mountain after mountain of mud, while Zoomy zoomed back and forth, turning the squishy ground into a firm, flat surface. They worked hard, moving stones and smoothing mud. Zoomy was great at finding smaller stones that Jumbo might miss, and he'd nudge them into a pile for Jumbo to scoop up all at once. They were making great progress, and the road was starting to look like a road again. They were almost finished when they heard a faint honking sound. Honk! Honk! It sounded like someone was in trouble. They both stopped and listened carefully. The sound was coming from the other side of the mess they had just cleared. Peeking over the last pile of dirt, they saw a bright yellow school bus. It was Betty the bus, and she was stuck. Her wheels were spinning and spinning in a deep patch of mud that they hadn't seen. The children on the bus were looking out the windows, their faces full of worry. Betty looked very flustered. "Oh dear, she called out. "I thought I could make it through, but I'm stuck. The children need to get to school." Zoomy and Jumbo knew they had to act fast. "Don't worry, Betty, we'll get you out," Jumbo called reassuringly. He carefully drove around the cleared part of the road to get behind the bus. "Okay, Zoomy," he instructed. "I'm going to give Betty a gentle push from behind. I need you to stay in front and tell me when her wheels are on solid ground. You're low to the ground, so you'll have the best view." Zoomy raced to the front of the bus. "Ready when you are, Jumbo," he called. Jumbo gently placed his scoop against the back of the bus and started to push. Betty's wheels whined as they struggled to find grip. "A little more, Jumbo," Zoomy shouted. "Her front wheels are almost there." With one final, strong push from Jumbo, Betty the bus lurched forward and her wheels landed on the firm road. She was free. The children on the bus cheered and clapped, pressing their happy faces against the windows. Betty honked her horn gratefully. "Oh, thank you, Zoomy. Thank you, Jumbo. You saved us," she said. "You're our heroes." With Betty and the children safely on their way to school, Zoomy and Jumbo finished clearing the last little bit of the road. They stood side by side, looking at their amazing work. The road was completely clear, smooth, and safe for everyone to use. The sun shone brightly on Zoomy's red paint and Jumbo's yellow frame. They were both tired, but they were also incredibly proud. They hadn't just cleared a road. They had helped their friends and made their town safe again. All the other cars and trucks in Motorville came to see. They honked their horns and flashed their lights, creating a parade of celebration for the two heroes. Hooray for Zoomy and Jumbo! They all cheered. Zoomy felt his little engine swell with pride, and Jumbo gave a happy rumble. They had proven that it doesn't matter if you're big or small. When you work together, you can solve any problem and be a hero. Zoomy and Jumbo looked at each other and knew this was the beginning of many more adventures together. And that, my friends, is the story of how a tiny red car and a giant yellow GC became the best rescue team in all of Motorville. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful adventure. If you loved the story of Zoomy and Jumbo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up. We have so many more stories from Motorville to share with you. See you next time.